Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
I remember the days, all those years ago that never fade away. And I remember your face when you hit the ground. I can recall the time and place on a midnight walk through the old streets, trying to turn back the clock to the days of old, back to the days when all the things we knew were made of gold. As the world moves on, time sings a song. In the old neighborhood.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you to today's edition of the Afridamus Report. And this episode would be called the Cookout. And you would see why it's called the Cookout. And this is a follow-up from our previous conversation, if you can remember. I asked the question here, and even I brought receipts and about whether Kamala is black or Indian. And now there are people coming out talking about, does that even matter? Yes, it does matter, because why would she lie about that important information? If a few years back you were referring to yourself as something else, and then now you call yourself another thing, like how can anyone trust that? So this is why it's very important for people to point that out. And it's pretty weird for Kamala to be vice president for 4 years. 4 years they don't want to talk about policies. And Joe Biden, people that's been paying attention, he said he wants to pick a black female. And we would cover all of that, in this segment that is coming. Well, Trump was invited, to the Black Cookout, which they call NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists. Guys, do you see how hypocritical it is? So everything is like black dollar, black business, black journalists. But how dare Trump said black jobs? So, and even most black people, to be frank, they are coming along. They're like, look, man, we're sick and tired of, these snowflakes coming here on TV telling us how we are supposed to act. And this has been the beef from day one against Trump. American politics, guys, is wild. Trump came, he opened the vault, he opened people's eyes, so they can't take him. They've used all kind of tactics against him. So the last time, if you remember, right, Biden, he campaigned from the basement because they came up with the COVID stuff and we had to mail our votes in. And I notice it is always, don't you find this weird how the Democrats, they are the only ones that are always coming up with ideas that look sketchy. Like for instance, they would say, asking for ID is racist. I mean, think about that for a minute, guys. You can buy liquor without ID. You can fly in a plane domestically without ID. You know, um, you can't go to the club without ID. Even food stamps, welfare people, you cannot receive food stamps without ID. So now all of a sudden, they are fighting. Think about this for a minute. The group of people, they are fighting, telling you, requiring people to, you know, to, to, present ID that's racist, and then they hang it all on black people. So the black game, there is an advantage to it, but are black people benefiting? Absolutely not. So this is where we're coming. Trump went to the cookout. If those of you that are familiar with the cookout, here's what most people don't realize. Trump is not only black, Trump is FBA black. I'm talking original black. He's from New York. Trump have always, been friends with black people, and that's never went away. He keeps it real. He's not like the politicians who, I mean, guys, think about, like, compare the way Trump speaks to to people versus these other people. I get it. There are some people who are so soft, you can be like, I'm offended by this person saying this. But you know what I'm offended by? I am more offended by you, looking dead in my face and lying to me. That means you disrespect me. You saying I'm ignorant. You can just come up and tell me anything. Audrey said, Afridamus had a red dot in his forehead. That's right. I'm glad you guys noticed this. I am Hindi. I am Hindu. I am Hindu today. Okay, because this is 2024. We are in the season of cultural appropriation. You know, as the representative of the African contingent, I am sick and tired of people cosplaying, the real black, and we're not getting anything. Now we got people from India cosplaying, since the blacks cannot own the blackness, I figured, why don't I play Hindu? I'm glad Audrey, you know this. Audrey, how is my Indian? Namaste, Audrey. Let me know in the chat. But now, right? So Trump, they said annually they have these, you know, um, um, national black journalists. This, mind you, look, these people, to me, and you, those of you that are honest, these people are activists. They are not journalists because journalists, their job is to, ask questions that have answers with verifiable evidence. It would mean you've taken the time, you have research, and you're bringing us the truth. You're not just, like going off of your feelings, so they know a lot of black people go off of their feeling and not realizing these people are using that to play you. Somali against Pan Africanism. Afridamus, you are Hindu now. Oh yeah, you see, guys, did you guys notice his question to me? He said, "Are you Hindi now? How come we cannot ask Kamala? You're black now?" Because you see, Somali against Pan Africanism have seen my videos previously where I have been telling people that I am African. And now he is seeing in August 2024, he's like, wait a minute, wait, I swear, Africanus was African. Like his last videos I saw, he is African. But how did he become Hindu today? Just relax. I mean, I have the right to do this. Okay? I have the right to do this. So they do this every year. They invite like political nominee, like the people that are running. So they invited Kamala, mind you, at this interview that you saw there in Chicago. Kamala was invited, but because Kamala is Indian, she is afraid of being even in a black safe space because they had their already the white liberals have their trained mammies ready to go, ready to attack anytime, and you will see it in this video. So they told Kamala, I could just imagine they're like, oh, Miss Madam Vice President, we want to invite you. I mean, you guys know Loki, she's the president, because there's a video of where they quote unquote doing the prisoner exchange. Biden is like sleepwalking. I'm going to bring that video and analyze it. So she's pretty much the president because there has been a coup staged against Biden. He got removed. The people did not vote for Kamala to be the nominee. They just cooked it within. So Biden is like, hey, Biden, can you imagine Biden was there saying, look, they just black. You bring them a Hispanic rapper, tell them she black, Cardi B. Biden was able to pull that off. And he even is like, go to a black radio, tell them if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. It worked for Biden. Okay? I mean, like in recent times, I gotta be honest, like they've used race, but the 2020 election, they went above and beyond. Above and beyond. I mean, you see black people who would get mad at Trump for no reason. You're like, but what did he do to you? Like, why are you so mad? You know, that's because these people that disguise as journalists, activists, that lie to us every day, those people have been doing their job. But Trump have been challenging them. He is never back down. So as usual, they invited him. They invited him to the black barbecue cookout. Kamala was invited. Kamala refused to come. I thought Kamala was the black. So Trump went there. I have the video here. Let me take you through it. We don't know what Miss Kamala is hiding, but you guys know Trump is like one of those friends. You know the things that you don't want, you've been faking about, you don't want the people to know. He would come and reveal it. So we would see a lot of that here. So this is why they've been hiding Trump from the mainstream media. They've pretended that he didn't exist. It didn't work. So let me do my fair use and we would get right into it. I would cut it in between every now and again, but I would mostly let it play so you guys can hear it just like me. Fair use. All right, let's see. They invited Trump to the cookout. He accepted the invitation. Now let the cooking begin. Here we go.
Hashtag NABJ fact check. Again, the hashtag is NABJ fact check. We have a lot to get to and we do not want to waste any time. So let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
Ew. Did you see the way Trump walked in? If there's anything you know about wealthy white people who are gangster, who don't give a damn about your skin color, what you identify is, they just want to keep it real. And they are not about any BS. Don't let the TV fool you. Trump did not come to play. Okay? First of all, think about it. The Republicans, right? Most of the white people they have there, they are snowflakes. The Democrats intimidate them, they scare them, they don't want them to go talk to black people. But look at where Trump have been mingling with black people, first of all, killing the lies about mythical racism. Okay? Because they want to run it on race. So Trump is like, hey, they are like, come to the lion's den. He walked straight into the lion's den. Let's see how Trump does with the all black audience here.
President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't.
Boom. Do you guys see that? That woman is not a journalist. She's an activist. She is fed the question. See, a lot of people, a lot of you like even including myself, maybe in the past, you look at these people on television, you admire them and trust that they are telling the truth. No, these people, their job, they don't even enjoy their job. Imagine if I'm sitting here having this conversation with you, but this is not my thought. Somebody else is speaking in my ear or giving me cue cards to speak of. So, okay, fine. If Trump claims that even Obama wasn't born in America, what is wrong with that? If he's born here, let him just prove it. Case closed. But when people start filibustering and start attaching labels, that means you are hiding something. And they are doing that with this Kamala thing where, they try to call white people racist, or they shame black men into, voting for their own doom. So it looks like the dam has broken. It's not working on Trump. Trump is answering the question perfectly. He is responding to this woman, pointing out how rude she is, because they have been deluded into believing that they are free to say whatever to a white person, and the white person will not return the favor. But Trump is different, and this is why they hate him. And let's be frank, this lady, she came out the door firing. She's rude, obnoxious, angry. So she needs to be put in her place. Here we go.
Even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful.
And that crowd you see cheering, that's a black crowd. If you know anything about black people, they love roasting. Who's the king of roasting? Donald Trump. So, to be honest, like most, if they are fair with the media, they leave it open. I mean, let's look at all the crowds on the internet. Every black place that Trump goes to, group of blacks he meets, You see nothing but love. They show him lots and lots of love because, I mean, they can relate to Trump more than they can relate to Kamala. So this is why you see them, even though like all the people in the room are supposed to go against Trump, but Trump is going to roast their representative so well in front of them because black people love a good roaster, and Trump is about to fry this, this black mammy over here.
That I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala.
God, I love how Trump is going in. You know, he made sure to lay it all out. He's like, I don't care about what the news said. Here's what I did for black people. Confidently sitting in front of black people and laying it all out. And there are many black people that can attest to that. Black people look up to Trump, guys. They look up to him. I've seen on TV the roast of Trump on Comedy Central years ago. He was mostly roasted by black people. So Trump is about as American as it is. He is an American icon, American symbol. So the Democrats, they are dry, boring. This is why Kamala did not show up. So now Trump is about, not only did Trump point out that she is rude, he also laid out how he helped black people. Kamala, they've been in the White House almost 4 years. Have you asked yourself, how come she couldn't come here and, let everyone know that Trump is lying? In fact, they did great for, black people. Their policy worked for black people. But Kamala did not show up. And she didn't even show up via Zoom. That's how much respect she got for black people. And look, me personally, I don't care about, as far as America goes, like race, at the end of the day, man, like people want low taxes. People want to be able to, work, feed their family, take care of their families, pay their bills, get extras, be able to go to restaurants, like live their lives. That's what most people want, white, black, blue, or green. And Trump is talking about that here. But now you have Kamala, who said, I'm for black people. Don't you guys think this venue would have been the perfect spot for her to come and show that they have been, been for the blacks? This is what we did for the black people. She couldn't do that. Running away from your own cookout, So the black bully, for instance, they talk about this black Greek sorority whatsoever. Guys, those are not the representation of the majority black population. So those people, what they do is they would lie to you. Those are the people they put in the media. They promote these HBCUs. How many black people have attended the HBCUs? Let's be real, okay? Even a foreign person can. Rachel Dolezal, the transracial white woman, to black, and then, they shame her on the news, even, charge her with a felony. Because how dare a white woman say pass for a black woman. So eventually she's like, all right, fine. She did her DNA. She found out she's partly Nigerian. Now she is Nigerian. They can't go after her because they said all people originate from Africa. Her origin is from Nigeria. Now she became, I think, Ndeche Diallo. She took the African name and everything. So it looks like Howard University, the same university Kamala went to. Are you guys beginning to see a pattern here? Is it possible that that school is there where they have special lessons? The people that go there, they teach them how to fake being black. Maybe politically, the ordinary black person does not understand what the black card really holds. Because Kamala was, for whatever reason, she's clinging onto this black thing when it comes to the national politics. So Trump is going to help us understand all that here today. And I like that Trump doesn't back down. He's not politically correct. He's not here to pander to anyone. So we will get the truth from him. Calling out these, you know, um, activists disguised as, journalists. And most black people would look at her and think, oh, she's representing black people. I've seen comments, they're like, oh, shame on her. She's not speaking, the black voice. What most black people don't realize is what she's even saying, those are not even her ideas. She's been fed that information, those questions, by a white person. That's what most of you don't realize. But let's continue.
I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was
Mr. President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I
believe
have
that
answered
black
the
voters should
question.
trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Boom! He answered the question. This is what they didn't want to hear. Yes, Rachel Dolezal went to an HBCU, and not just any HBCU, the same HBCU Kamala went to, Howard. They went to the same school, and I wouldn't be surprised if they are in the same, fraternity as well. So, yeah. So Trump, Trump called it out. He called out their ghetto behavior, how their mics are janky. Kamala, said she couldn't make it, but she can come through Zoom. Now, all of a sudden, you know, um, they're calling up line, sending text talking about, oh, Joe Biden, he forgot to pay the internet bill. So, so the internet is not working. Even the phone is not working. Okay, how are you able to send this text again? Which Wi-Fi? Oh, we are just connected to Obama's Wi-Fi. My point is, she got scared. Okay, so clearly they're hiding something from the people, because you see, last you guys remember last election when it was time to do the second debate, Trump versus Biden. That wasn't even a debate, as you know, because you got Chris Wallace. You got the moderator was against Trump straight up, right? So the last debate, they refused to do it. So they knew something, right? So they decided, okay, let's do the debate with Trump early. And Trump did it with Biden. We all saw he wiped the floor with Biden. He defeated him defeated him out of the race. So now Kamala, at this point, I don't even believe she would end up being the nominee. I mean, with these Democrats, you never know, right? But ever since they said she was the nominee, she did not do one sit down interview. Even here would have been a friendly environment for her, and she didn't show up. So what does that tell you? So black, not all the black people, American people, everyone is seeing this. They're like, oh man, this is weird. I mean, okay, you say you got the momentum on your side, you gotta come out and speak. But let's go.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
For you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead.
Man, this is great. So these people they were talking about DEI was great, So now that they are pointing out the incompetence of DEI hires, now it is bad to mention that people are DEI hires. But Trump is a wise man. He is intelligent, smart. He said, define DEI to me, which opens up the conversation, because the way she is coming, she wants to do a gotcha soundbite out of Trump so they can say Trump is racist. But let's see what her definition of DEI would be.
How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition then. Would you give me a definition of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well,
So you notice, she did not define what DEI is. She just told us what the letters stand for. I like what Trump is doing, because the true definition of DEI, if he defines it, then they would flip it and say, oh, look at how racist Trump is. So he wants her to define it so that everyone hears it out of her mouth. And then Trump should have asked, okay, is DEI a good thing or not? Because if they look down on DEI, it was Joe Biden who came on TV. People watched it. He said he is going to choose a Black woman as his running mate. So her qualification is, quote unquote, being Black and a woman. But now her Blackness is going to come into question. Let us see.
I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She is always
But you know
identified
what?
as a Black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
Black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was in. Nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire?
So, you see, Trump went there. The way the mainstream media speaks, they want to discount, what everyday people are talking about, what the streets are talking about. Last video I did was about this. People have been talking about this. There is interviews of Kamala, being Indian. So this woman here, the black woman, she's complacent. She's complacent in lying to black people, because here she is saying, no, Kamala have always, represented herself as black. So they want to say Trump is lying. So here's the proof. Let's see if Kamala have always been black. Here we go.
First Indian American senator in 2017.
Yes. Put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right. Do you solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies? Now you got some family out here?
Thank you. Come on, family.
Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? Here.
It's respectful to call, like, I should be calling you Senator Harris, right?
No, you should not. That's not on my birth certificate.
Okay. Kamala? Yes, please. Okay, because the Indian in me, I feel like my dad will watch this.
Just don't call me auntie.
Okay, I won't call you auntie. They'll be like, how could you call her by her first name? She's worked so hard. Okay, so what we're gonna cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Did you guys see
really
that?
don't know. I mean, I really don't know. Could be.
So Trump is not lying. In fact, that video is right before she even became vice president. When I was watching it, I was like, wait, like, is this real? Because I watched it. I was like, wait, didn't she flopped from being, I thought she dropped the Indian label. Now she's black and then she's Indian again. So Trump told the truth. Trump spoke about what a lot of black people in the streets, these YouTube streets, have been wondering about. So Trump is like, hey, look, man, I ain't gonna snitch, but I'm just letting y'all know, man, like years ago, I know of her. She used to write letters asking for, campaign donation. She promoted her Indian, heritage. That's what I knew her as Indian. But now all of a sudden she black, just like up until, August 2024, you guys knew me as an African. And now you're all confused. Like, wait, when did he become Hindu? Okay, so you see how this is the thing with black people. You see how quickly, like Audrey questioned, like, wait a minute, did Afridamus, does he have a dot? And Somali American, when he came, he questioned me right away. But now people are upset. They are upset. Oh, Trump, oh, we can't believe you, Trump. How are you going to show up at the cookout? And told on Kamala. But a lot of black people, they're in the back giggling. Did you hear them in the back? Black people giggling. They're like, oh, shit. Trump roasting this Indian woman today. I mean, shit, she ran away, but Trump brought the curry. He is sprinkling this place with curry. Let's hear more of Trump.
There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that
Well,
interview.
you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we are divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What is
Guys, you gotta give it to Trump. So even though people pretended to say they are offended by the black job. Everyone knows what he's talking about. He's in the lion's den. He is at the cookout. And, like, they even call this the Black Journalists Association. But now, all of a sudden, black jobs do not exist. No, Trump, let them know. And guys, the link is in the chat. If anyone wants to join in, you feel free to call in.
Exactly is a black job, sir.
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like.
Damn. Guys, imagine. Imagine. Woody, you're 100% correct. He came and he was cooking at the cookout. Look, Trump, he showed up. This lady thought she was going to cook Trump. He flipped it around. He is cooking at the cookout. Like CNN, like they try to make the black job sound like it's a bad thing, racist thing. It can't stick. I mean, when he says black job, I mean, come on, you guys know what it is. Why are people pretending? Okay? So Trump came in Kamala's house, supposed to be her house, but black people are like, oh, now, those black people are like, man, Kamala is whack. Trump is the man. Trump, they brought him on the grill, and I mean, that barbecue smells good and it's tasting good. Let me allow Trump to go back on the grill and, finish these ribs, okay?
She's never even essentially been, she said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs. And frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are...
Hey, you guys know FBA. Most of them cannot just come out and say it, but they are with Trump, okay? Doesn't Trump sound FBA? He sounds very FBA. I'm not talking about the ones that are like, the victimhood-minded ones. The real FBAs, they are back there. They support Trump. They are with Trump because this is where common sense is, okay? Yeah, the black jobs, you guys know what the black jobs are. Frying chicken at McDonald's, okay? I'm just joking, okay? Don't start going like, oh, this is what we're talking about, Afro-Damers, so that's how you see black people. No, first of all, most of you are so selfish. You do realize, for example, these teenagers, young men, like, where do you expect them to get jobs at? Where they would, start out. Some of you started out in fast food. If you remember your first job, in the food industry, grocery stores. Like those jobs were for teenagers. So now you've got grown adults competing with your teenager. So like, teenagers at home, you can find them a job where they will get their training into adulthood because there are other adults taking less money to take those jobs. But some are like, oh yeah, there's black people who are lawyers. Of course, we get that. But there is different categories of black people, different age groups. That's how people have to think. So Trump is thinking ahead.
Setting loose their prisoners, they're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
True.
It's not monolithic. So as you come...
So then why do you guys act like all black people have to think and act alike? Let's continue.
Here today, I want to talk about something that bursts, and this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically.
Yeah.
How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, you know, this woman was unable to...
Man, Trump he continues to roast them. Not only did he point out that they are rude, he's pointing out that their mic is janky, you know, they are ghetto as hell, you know, like, but he's answering every question. And I like the question that, you know, this Harris lady is asking, because that's what people want to hear, you know, but, you know, like name calling, but the person that you are using the name on, they are not allowed to respond. This is what these people do. It's like they create a boxing match, but they made all the rules. Like they are the only ones that are allowed to punch you. You can't punch back. You know, if you punch back, that means you are bad. So this is why Harris, Kamala ran away from this. But let's let Trump continue, you know, grilling like the grill master that he is.
Get the right equipment, but it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the...
Is he lying? He is not lying. He is cooking. But you would have some foolish black people who would even allow like the news to come and be like, oh, what Trump said there, that was racist. But no, like he came there, he is cooking, and he is letting you know, like, you are being played. Okay? He's not here to pander to black people because he knows most of them are way in their feelings anyways. You know, they're going to vote for the Democrats, you know, but the ones that he can sway and bring over, he's going to, you know, speak to them. So, you know, you got to give that to him. Here we go.
Cost of housing because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or more.
So what do you do?
Than any...
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls. And then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. and his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight, a prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing well. You say, let's bring in another fighter.
Boom. You guys see that? Trump called it out. That's right. So they had Joe Biden. They said, oh, Joe Biden can win fair and square. So now you're wondering, okay, why are they, locking people up who dare question the, if the elections were clean or not? And then, so now they don't have COVID to go off of. Biden did the debate. The same people who were telling us, oh no, Biden is strong, he's running a marathon, he's lifting weights and all. We all found out on TV. Most of you did. You found out, like, come on, these people have been lying, like Biden can win. He can barely, put sentences together. So he's right. And they swap him. I thought they said it's about democracy. They didn't vote for Harris. The people didn't choose her. They selected her. So right then and there, that's lie number one. And that's a big lie. Huge. And then lie number two is they are trying to tell you and I that Harris is black. If Harris is black, then I'm Hindu. See, I have the red dot to prove it. All right, let's continue.
So our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad.
Trump is right. The inflation is high, ladies and gentlemen. It is high. Look, the price of steak is up, eggs, milk, like vegetables, you name it. Okay? So, why are people in their feelings? You don't know Biden like that. You don't know Kamala like that. But one thing we know for sure is when these people came in to the White House, the gas prices went up, steak went up, bacon went up, chicken went up, eggs. You get the drift. The chips in the bag. Do you guys know, there's less chips in the bag and they charge more for it? It's more air in it. So now it's about facts versus hate. Harris should be able to come out and explain to the people. So Trump is speaking to real people based on real facts. When you get to that cashier, you don't need CNN to tell you that. But let's let him continue.
Bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr. President, can I ask you another question that is also impacting black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again, why would...
Are they going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths.
I'm glad Trump is calling it out, because you see, like, most of these other white dudes have cowered down. They've shamed them into, like, they can't tell the truth. Trump is calling it out like it is. Like, so why are these people making it seem like, criminality is synonymous with black people? But when you point out the black crime statistics, they're like, oh no, it doesn't exist. But then they want to advocate for laws saying, oh, those laws are targeting, blacks. But it's just a minority of black people. There is a minority of criminals there who, this law affects. But they want to take that and blow it out of proportion. And then now they made that every black person's fight. So Trump is 100% correct here, right? The cops, they should be able to do their jobs. Criminals, they shouldn't be making laws saying that people can steal up to $1,000 of someone's property, or making silly ads talking about, you should give up your wallet, your money to a criminal. That is pretty silly. Okay, we need law and order in the streets. Back the blue, make sure the blue is able to do their job. If they abuse their power, they should pay for it too. That's what it's about. But when they start making this about race, when in fact, people are out here, people are getting robbed. People are robbing grandmas, they're robbing white women, okay? All sorts of, foolery happening. Instead of these people talking about this, they want to come out here and start telling you that, everything out here, it is about racism. It is the white people's fault, okay? So don't allow them to play you like that. So Trump is definitely putting his foot down and letting them know straight up, look, this is what needs to be done. And in fact, if we are doing this and we are securing every city and state, people won't be shooting and killing each other in Chicago. Guys, get the likes up if you haven't already hit it. But here we go.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine an innocent mistake?
You go after somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And they have, the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing, because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find,
which is a fact. Some people want to go, oh no, these people go out, they're race soldiers, they want to shoot somebody. But when we look at the numbers, there are more, you know, white cops shooting white people that we don't hear about. So yeah, police work is no joke. You know, sometimes you gotta make some very, very, very tough decisions, and they can be life changing. Here we go.
It's interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent, and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president.
Trump made a good point. I saw that hearing. Did you guys know that they went and quote unquote investigated Biden because they are like, oh, look at it, Trump stole classified documents, when in fact the law allows him to have these documents. But Biden, when he was a vice president, he took documents he wasn't supposed to. So they investigated him, and the conclusion was, yes, he was wrong, but they cannot, take him through trial because he's mentally incompetent to stand trial. So Trump's got a good point. If he's incompetent mentally, he's not fit mentally to stand trial, how is he president? Guys, then who is running the country? That's what people should be asking. People have been saying years ago, oh, conspiracy, conspiracy, people are selected. Well, you are seeing everything play out right in front of us. For me, if people who have never supported Trump, the simple fact that they shot at him, they did a drive-by. I mean, American politics is like, gang politics, Bloods and Crips. Okay, look at it, blue and red. So the simple fact that they took a shot at him, that should make you even want to support him more. You should know, why did they want to take him out? Who is trying to take him out? They took out JFK. They tried taking out Ronald Reagan, and from what we've read and what we were told, he did great. Last time Trump was in, he did great. So why are they trying to take him out? And come on, we all know the explanation they gave us. I don't know if you guys have seen it, and it makes you wonder. You're like, man, how did this 20-year-old, how was he able to, bring a ladder with his gun, climb up that ladder, and fire a shot? Forget the fact that you hate Trump, but I mean, think about that for a minute. So somebody is in charge. Just the simple fact that they can shut down. Remember last time they shut down Trump's Twitter, shut down his social media, wouldn't show anything about Trump on TV. They can talk about him. He can talk about them. Have you ever wondered who are those people? I mean, they are trying to shut him down for a reason. So here we go.
Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to different topics.
I didn't notice you do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where I
Sir, if
have
you
a
don't mind, I'd
hostile
love
judge.
to. We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different
No,
topics.
excuse
if
you.
we
You're the
can.
one that held me up at 30.
So you guys see what she's doing? It's no different than this some of these hostile, you know, YouTube channels. Like they are pulling a Tariq Nasheed. Like when he can talk about quote unquote others, Africans, Caribbeans, but if somebody comes up calling, challenge him, like he would keep muting him, cutting him off. It's kind of the same thing. So Trump is laying it all out, and you can tell the crowd is feeling it. The crowd is listening. They're like, okay, like, yeah, we're feeling Trump. We're feeling him. We like what he's saying. Because the only way these Democrats can win black people is to spread misinformation. And the people they spread the information about, not, like you fight those people, don't allow them to speak directly with black people. But if you notice, like that crowd is all black, and they are feeling Trump. There's few sassy ones, some screaming in the back. I heard that was Roland Martin was there. He was about to have a heart attack. He was there, squealing like a little black queen. But other than that, like your ordinary black person that goes to the grocery store is like, yeah, Trump, I'm feeling you. You speaking my language right now. But you got this other one, madam here, with her wig on. She's got her white liberal boss in her ear telling her what to say because the cue cards aren't enough. So you must remember, these people are not thinking for themselves. Okay? The agendas, the questions they're asking didn't come from them. It came from people that control them.
5 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family oriented, and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go.
See, they try to throw a gotcha question at Trump, but he's answering it well. And what his vice president said, how can we have cat ladies, decide the future of the country? They don't have much stake in it. And, he's not saying that people who don't have children don't have a say or are terrible, but you've got people who are making policies about children when they don't have children. That is, that should be questioned. Somali against Pan-Africanism said, where are her black relatives from Jamaica? I've seen her Indian relatives. Good question. You know why you didn't see the quote-unquote black family? Because there isn't any. Her father is Irish and Hindu. So you would only see either white person or Indian. See, some black people on TikTok or online are very confused, just like many Americans. They don't understand the difference between nationality and ethnicity. Jamaica doesn't only have black people. They have Indians, they have Chinese, they have white Jamaicans. They have all of them there. So you would hear people say, oh, but she is, black Jamaican. Jamaican is not a race. It is a country. And if you say I'm Jamaican, just like I said, there are Indians who are Jamaicans. It's like saying I'm American. There are white Americans, black Americans, Chinese American, Japanese American. So America is not a race, it's a nationality. So so many of these people are so confused by this. But what does that tell you? And these people have student loans. What did they take their loans for? What have they been learning in school? They wasted their money and years. So many of these people that say they are educated, that is red flag. They are not educated. They don't even understand the world around them. Look, you understanding your job, knowing how to do your job alone, where you get your paycheck from, doesn't mean you're educated. People need to know the difference. So you have to learn about real life as well. But here we go.
Through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking
Excuse
about
me.
families here.
And
He also
some of
says that
those
people that don't have children should get less votes than
That's
those
all
that
right.
do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
that your
and I
campaign
think I'm
position?
speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that.
Yeah, Mark said clearly Kamala has black Negroid ancestry. You can look at her hair as compared to pure Hindustanis and tell. Now, look, here's where would her Negroid background come from, Mark? You have to understand this is all documented. Okay? Like, if you say, so if her father is Irish and Indian, Irish, that's white man from Ireland. So you gotta know in Jamaica they had Irish, they had English, because it's British territory. They had Indians. They have the African slaves. So for the Indians, these Hindus to mix, they look down on blacks. They don't mix with blacks, but they can mix with white people. So if her father is Irish and Indian, her mom is straight Hindu, no white mixture or African, where is her Negroid from? Where? Mac, there's dark skinned Indians. Yes, he's a mulatto, he's mixed. Indian and Irish, not African. You cannot trace anything African about them. Zongo, her dad is not black. Her dad even said it, sir. Her dad is not black. Her dad is Indian and Irish.
Interpretation.
Look, even if the skin is black, Jamaican is not FBA. Okay? I support that FBA have to have their own representative. Both parents are, immigrants. And you know how FBA is about debtors. How can debtors come here and run the board on FBA? Fine. Even if her father, you can, let's say if is black, which Kamala never claimed. As you can see, the only side she shows us is the Indian side. Okay? She's still not FBA. But here we go.
You'll have to ask him, actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family-oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point, and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I've ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes.
Yeah, Chukwu, you got a point. The first black president was a Kenyan. The second black president will be an Indian. Exactly. So Mark said, but I agree, Afridamus Kamala is not FBA, but she has at least some black Negroid ancestry nonetheless. I look, Mark, right now, you know, I have some Blackfoot Indian DNA. Some of it, like 2%. Does that mean I have to claim that I am Blackfoot Indian? Absolutely not. So let's just call it like it is. Kamala herself. She was the first black senator. I have shown the video here. That's what she represented herself as. Don't you think in San Francisco black people could have used that symbolism and cling onto that? If she were truly a black woman, why didn't she say, I am black, right? Because they said it's all about symbolism. So you want to tell me at the time, oh, the people did not need the symbolism? No, because you know why she went with Indian? Because she was running in the Bay Area, the tech area. There's a lot of Indians there, her people. San Francisco, they had the money Asians, so she came in as Asian. Okay? When she goes to the transgenders, she is transgender. So she pretends. So you can't trust that. You can't trust it. And the cookout here, where Trump is the barbecue master, she wouldn't even show up. So yes, I get it. Elections shouldn't be about race. But her camp, her people, they're the ones making it about that. And she's a DEI hire. And we all know DEI means incompetent. Okay? I don't have to get into all the other letters. This is why when you say such and such is a DEI hire, they get upset because they know the truth. So therefore, why push for DEI? We've all heard these people push for this. So this is why Kamala, because it's a big job. Think about it. Oh, so black women especially don't even understand how they are disadvantaged when they sign on to this idea of, oh, women of color bullshit. Have you noticed where, okay, they said, oh, we're going to use the black women. But just like they put Ketanji, see, she got a black name, Ketanji Jackson, on the Supreme Court. And these are all controlled, by the way, right? So for vice president, they said, oh, woman of color, but black, right? She's not black. She's not. So that means she stole a job that was meant for a black woman. Do you see the point Trump was making here? So these illegal aliens, even though her parents, yes, they said they came here legally, but now we have to question because their behavior is beginning to seem like illegal aliens. Okay? Because Kamala is acting like an illegal alien. Just out here, these Hispanics, they out here fighting, taking black jobs in black neighborhoods, taking black benefits. And Kamala is out there in the White House, in the up and up, taking the black people's job, just like Obama did. You know Obama Kenyan, right? His village is in Kenya. But you didn't hear this from me. Let's go.
I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happen. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening. a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of.
Zongo, you said the father looked Black American. Yeah, some Indians look like that, but you see, he's not Black American. He's Jamaican, and in Jamaica, he's not mixed with African. He is Hindu and Irish. Jamaica have different ethnic groups, even Europeans. So sure, there are people from other countries that look like African American, but that doesn't mean they are Black American. Just simply being Jamaican disqualifies him. Okay? So, yeah, thank you.
This room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Anyways, you guys can watch the rest of it on your own time. The link, I dropped it in the chat, but people are not hitting it. That's okay. I wanted to show you this. But Mark said Black Jamaican are the original Irish. Okay. So Kamala took Black scholarships money away from FBAs when she attended Howard. Exactly. Exactly. So it's like she is FBA Black when it's convenient. And then you have some FBA sellouts who, you know, because of their jobs, they are speaking on behalf of Massa. They come out here and start supporting this foolery. Look, I don't know about you, but me, I like people that keep it real, like Trump. Come to the cookout. Look, if you come to the cookout, they put you in charge of the grill, man, you better feed all of us. Make sure you cook. And cook did Trump cook. You know, put that hood rat in her place. Yeah, some might be, oh, she's from the suburb, but she got a hood rat behavior. You know, what the hell? She coming out right out the gate. She has no manners. She don't know how to greet this man. You know, this man, if there's anything, he was just the president. He's a billionaire. He's built companies. He's an American builder. Respect should be shown. But nowadays, they want to make it seem like they can just come out here and disrespect people. I love that Trump put the smack down. And I would continue to, you know, bring you the news that is circulating. I've been busy, but in a good way. We got plenty of news to bring. You know, speaking of blackness, I have South Africa on my agenda. They are showing their hate again towards Nigerians. And Nigerians are protesting because of high prices of food. So we have to vote Trump in so that we can get tax breaks and, you know, donate money to Nigeria so that the people don't end up burning up Nigeria. But guys, feel free in the chat. Let me know, you know, what you think about, you know, Trump going to the cookout. How did he do? You know, did he handle it well? Did he put the smack down on this fake journalist? He called Kamala to the carpet, and Kamala cannot fool it. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.
Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through.
Hating on the pimp, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Big flex, my swole up. Double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like hold up. What's the problem? I'm pulled up. Big flex, my swole